Shove it, squad. The Hawk has finally done it. I have found the greatest episode of TNA ever. This really is the perfect episode of wrestling if you love over-the-top gimmicks, bizarre storylines, wrestlers being buried in the funniest ways, and matches which are so short you can visit the dump station in the time it takes to get a 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe this isn't the greatest, but it sure makes for a funny and entertaining video.
Can you see? Can you see? Tell the people, can you see? I see. Hallelujah.
This one certainly has Vince Russo's greasy fingertips all over it. So sit back and relax and watch this complete car crash. This episode's so filthy it might just give you a rash. Also, just to make it even more interesting, this is the episode of TNA which followed the Jeff Hardy Victory Road incident where he wrestled Sting drugged up and was then sent home for a long time. So let's see how TNA recovered without the master of the Swanton Bomb on the show. The show starts with the icon Sting, who has just captured the world title from drugged up Jeff Hardy at Victory Road. He's also holding another title, which was Jeff Hardy's Immortal title. No big speech from the Stinger, he just calls out the Grey Crew, Hogan and Bischoff. They seem in a pretty good mood, all things considered. Sting holds out Jeff's belt and says this is all that's left of Jeff Hardy. He tells Hulk to do what he wants with it, and he throws it away like trash. Sting blames Hogan for Jeff's actions. What did Hogan do? Sort him some smoke or something? He pins the whole incident on Hogan for turning Jeff into a bad human being. Hogan's just all smiles this entire time. The Hulkster disagrees and calls the Jeff Hardy Victory Road show an embarrassment. Hogan goes on to explain that he's a far bigger star than Jeff Hardy, and that's what all of this was really about. Yeah, sure, Hulkster. Apparently there's 50 main eventers calling Hogan who could easily take Jeff Hardy's place. Sting asks where they're at, and then out walks Bully Ray? Yeah, even Hogan seems confused about this one. It's interesting to see Bubba dressed like an Aces and Eights member 2 years before that was even a thing. Bubba reveals that he's one of the main eventers who was calling Hogan for a shot. You liar, you're not a main eventer, Bubba Ray. He takes a shot at Devon Dudley, saying he got tired of carrying that sack of crap and calls Sting a sad, jealous old man, and basically says Sting's whole career has been about Hogan. Bully runs a world title shot and says Sting has always been in Hogan's shadow, which causes the Hulkster to flex with happiness. Sting looks like he's trying not to laugh the whole time. Before Hogan can give Bully a title shot, the Fortune faction interrupts. They actually look pretty cool here. By the way, this segment is lasting a while. We've already hit an advert break before Styles even talks. AJ makes fun of Bully Ray having to be a tag team rather than making it on his own. Bully is surprised that Dixie isn't still breastfeeding AJ. Bubba calls him small and Styles ends up slapping some sense into him. I thought the segment was almost over, but now Mr. Anderson has marched into the ring. He's been asking for a title shot rematch for a very long time at this point, but the crew keeps screwing him. He comically screams, "Where's my title shot?" Hogan calls him an asshole, causing Ken to fall to the mat and keep screaming asshole. Hogan keeps calling him asshole too, so Anderson calls him Terrence. It's starting to get heated here. Bischoff calms the situation, saying that the network is desperate for ratings, so he's got an idea for them. A four-way match for a world title shot. Anderson versus Bully Ray versus AJ Styles versus RVD. Not sure why RVD was missing from this segment. Anderson is livid and doesn't want this match. The segment ends 18.5 minutes into the show. They dealt with Jeff Hardy in a pretty low-key way. They didn't really reveal too much, but they made it clear that they wanted to move on quickly from the incident. To be fair, I'm not sure how they could have possibly handled this better at this stage. In the back, Perk Angle is struggling to carry a gift into the arena. He says it's for Karen and Jeff. In the back, RVD does make an appearance. He was probably busy doing something more important. AJ wants to talk to him about tonight's main event. He thinks they should watch each other's backs. Rob makes him look pretty stupid and doesn't want to be his little friend. We move into our first match now, an open challenge for the Knockouts title. Randomly, out walks Alyssa Flash with a catchy theme song which is short-lived because she's smacked down the ramp by the champion Madison Rayne. Madison pounds her into the ring and hits her horrible finisher for the free in about 20 seconds. Mickie James comes down the ramp, causing Madison and Tara to take an early exit. Mickie calls her out and wants a title match. Madison will only give her a match if Mickie agrees to put her haircut on the line. Mickie agrees to that and the knockout segment ends in 3 minutes. Now, not sure what I'm looking at here. The Pope has a blind person, a lady in a fat suit and someone in a wheelchair. But it's revealed that all of the people are faking it and the Pope is very excited for his segment tonight. We come back from an advert break to Mr. Anderson screaming and filling his nappy of rage. He blames Hogan for no longer being the champion. Hogan tells him to stop being a baby, which causes Anderson to take his aggression out on the cameraman. In the ring, the Pope is here with his strange cast of characters. He looks very pleased with himself. He's here to perform miracles on these three friends. I love how he has his own special microphone. He approaches the blind man first and wants him to put his faith in the Pope. He tells him to kiss the ring, but he misses because he's blind. Pope removes his glasses to reveal a gormless moron. Pope rubs his face, which apparently leaves the blind man now able to see. The acting is comically bad, by the way. Never could a blind person be so monotone about regaining their vision.
I see. Then give Pope a hobby, Daddy! Hallelujah!
The man in the chair is next, whose disability was caused by diving headfirst into a swimming pool. The Pope starts booting him in the legs to show that this man has no feeling in them. Pope starts rubbing his knees and slapping him for some reason, and now the man can stand. He dances a jig of happiness. All that's left is an obese version of China. Pope starts squashing her fat rolls. Then he says even Jesus can't help her lose weight, and she bursts into tears.
His hands aren't big enough. I think I had a swimming accident. She must have a floating accident.
You know what? I don't think even Jesus could help you lose weight.
It's bad, because this woman is clearly a fat woman wearing a fat suit. By no coincidence whatsoever, the fat mocking brings out Samoan Joe. He has Okada with him in his terrible gimmick. Pope is frustrated that Joe is always ruining his segments. He calls Okada a Green Hornet ripoff. He pushes the blind man into Joe. Wait, why is he blind again? Pope drags Okada out of the ring and holds a knife to his throat. He drags him to the back, with the Pope making fun of him the whole way and drumming him in the head with the microphone. Okada is launched down the entrance ramp like a bowling ball, but it turns out that the knife was fake. What a segment, that was up there with the craziest of all time.
What is it with you and this Green Hornet ripoff, huh? Hey, how does it feel to be a superhero now, huh?
Doing this right.
Huh? If you step on my shoe one more time, I'm gonna show you exactly on my shoe. I'm gonna show you exactly.
We ain't done with them though. Somehow the Pope now has Okada strung up in the back. Pope keeps smacking him in the gut with something. He rips off Okada's mask, but then he demands he puts it back on because he's ugly. This whole segment did some serious damage to the working agreement between TNA and New Japan, and they refused to lend them any wrestlers for years to come. Pope kicks him in the nutsack and pimp slaps him. Samoan Joe can be heard screaming in the background, which causes the Pope to run off. Okada is pretty much dead now, and Joe fills his thong with anger. Elsewhere backstage, No Job Rob meets with Ken Anderson. Rob suggests Anderson is about to join Immortal to get help capturing the title. Mr. Anderson is rudely chewing gum with his mouth wide open. Rob is excited for the main event. Velvet Sky meets up with Angelina Love. She's trying to discuss their tag match tonight. Winter barges into the dressing room and says Angelina's teaming up with her and not Velvet. They have a childish argument and a tug of war over Angelina. The whole time Angelina looks like she's conked out. Angelina ends up leaving with Winter, who has been drugging her, by the way.
I'm hella faded. I sip lean on a celebration. I just popped another 30, now I'm meditating.
Out next, it's JEFFJARRETT.
Jeff Jarrett.
He's here to say that he's the better man than Perk Angle, but for the sake of the children and Kurt's children, Jeff wants a truce. He calls himself an MMA expert. He invites Kurt to come out and beg for forgiveness. Kurt seems to be embracing these intentions as he has a giant present for them. Kurt tells Jeff he is the better man and says the present is a peace offering. Jeff doesn't trust Kurt, but despite that he unwraps his present. Jeff looks like the cat that got the cream. It's a special guitar for Jeff. Kurt raises their arms and then happily blasts Jeff over the head with the guitar. Karen looks like she wants to sniff his ass or something. Kurt shows he can't be smacked in the nutsack as he's wearing a cup. NWA Impact brings you the Smack of the Week, sponsored by all new Blonde for Men. If you're a brown-haired Potter, put some blonde in it. It makes you look hotter.
Oh man, looks like Karen Jarrett wants to get freaky with her ex-husband, man. Perk Angle, she wants to sniff his ass, stick her nose right up there and sniff. Oh no, she smacks him in the slash zone. What a punch, but Kurt Angle didn't even hunch. Man, he's wearing a cup. She ready to try, but don't forget Kurt Angle's free eyes.
That was the NWA TNA Smack of the Week, sponsored by Blonde Just for Men. Get it? Got it? Shove it. Angle is no longer all smiles. He screams at Jeff and challenges him to a pay-per-view cage match. Slappy agrees, and that's that. Pretty good, it didn't stick around too long to get boring, and Kurt is always entertaining when he's popping the perks. In the back, the leader of the Grey Crew have gathered the three Stooges, Gunner, Murphy and the Welsh Roider. He says Immortal need all the titles because Abyss was the TV champion, but he's now out injured and they need a new champion. One of these three morons will become champion tonight. He says tonight there's no room for friends and they need to leave it in the ring. The whole time none of them speak and they look like little children being told off at the principal's office as the Welsh Roider desperately flexes to impress Bischoff. Karen Jarrett is screaming to the police on the phone. We get a hype package for the TV title. Rob Terry says he's the best built man in wrestling history, and the other two, well, they still don't get to talk. Let's get this one over and done with, because I have honestly got no idea how this even ended up on TV. Security guards Gunner and Murphy and the biggest Roider in the Welsh world will have a triple threat match. The match truly sucks. Nobody does anything impressive. They're all heels, nobody cares, the crowd is in silence. They get 2 minutes, which is 1.5 minutes too long. The whole thing looks clunky and awkward. Terry hits a kick, Gunner spears him, and then he drops Murphy on his face for the 3. Taz on commentary says this match was money, and Bischoff claps like he has zero enthusiasm in his body. AJ Styles with a rambling promo in the back. Basically, he's trying to understand what the allegiances are in this match. The camera has to cut multiple times because he keeps stumbling. The Nature Boy marches up and starts screaming in his face, causing AJ to knock him out with one punch. Back with the Slapnut squad, Karen is being a complete Karen and screaming at the police. Everybody's yelling and my head hurts. It's honestly horrendous to listen to these screeching banshees. Now it's a mixed 6-person tag. Hernandez teams up with Sarita and Rosita. No Anarchia, as he hadn't quite arrived yet, which is a good thing. And they all enter to the old LAX music. Hernandez also randomly cuts a promo. He says they are Mexican America and they're taking over their land. It's a bad promo, and then he whistles to end it. The opponents are the lesbian zombie time-travelling ghosts Winter and Angelina. They will team up with Matt Boring. This one doesn't go long either. Morgan destroys Hernandez. La Prostitutas try to stop him hitting his finisher, but he throws them away. Angelina hits a spear and Winter hits a backbreaker to Rosita. 1 minute it went. Then Anarchia turns up, attacking Matt Boring. He is a cheap, cheesy version of Chavo Guerrero who everyone backstage hates. This incredible new team end up turning and running from Matt Morgan. Whilst that match was short, it seems like all the time is going to go to the main event. AJ Styles, No Job Rob, Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson will fight for the #1 contendership. Styles has the early advantage, but he's too small to monkey flip Bully Ray. Ray deals with Anderson and faces off with No Job Rob. Ray looks way too slow for Rob. RVD kicks him and hits the Rolling Thunder with the pin broken up. Styles flies into the ring, almost pinning Anderson. He keeps going with a drop kick and then does a beautiful sell from Bully Ray's clothesline. Ray follows it up with a side slam for a 2. Rob has returned now and hits a diving calf kick to the Bully. He sends AJ flying out of the ring. Unfortunately for Rob, he misses a frog splash on Anderson. Bully's back up again and he gets a 2 off a Uranagi. AJ also makes his return with a springboard forearm to the Bully. Lots of nice looking moves in it. Rob almost beats AJ with a diving thrust kick. Now Anderson comes close with a spinning net breaker. For the second or third time in this match, AJ flies out of the ring and catches nothing but the floor. Bully Ray wants to use a chair, but he's stopped by Hebner. The chair is just randomly left in the ring with the referee distracted by basically nothing. Anderson tries to back suplex Rob on the chair. He pretty much misses it. Somehow, it's ruled as a double pin and both men are down for the 3. Before a decision can be made, Bully Ray clocks Earl Hebner. Borash also takes a boot to the skull. That gives AJ time to wake up and these two will fight their way up the ramp. They don't seem to like each other very much. On the stage, Bully Ray starts begging for his life. AJ can't hit him with the steel chair though because Ric Flair runs up behind him and smacks him in the slash zone. Bully debates using the chair but has a change of heart. He doesn't want to use it. Instead, he dives AJ off the ramp with a scary powerbomb through a table. The referees quickly throw up X's to show that there's an injury. This injury angle goes on for a very long time, about 8 minutes. AJ has to be stretchered away. The cameramen decide to harass Kaz, who's trying to speak to AJ's wife on the phone. And that's how the show ends. The match was fun whilst it lasted, but once again, it only went a short time of 5 minutes. There was actually only about 9 minutes of wrestling across this entire show, and actually only the last match resembled an actual wrestling match. So yeah, this is how TNA moved on from the Jeff Hardy Victory Road incident. Jeff Hardy had a short match on pay-per-view, so we'll continue having short matches just like Jeff Hardy did. But at the same time, we'll be as wacky as possible. Hardy would be off the show for about 6 months, and he's lived a clean and sober life in North Carolina with his stoner friend Shannon ever since. Vince Russo would also be gone from the head writer position within 6 months. And looking back at this, man, it wasn't boring, but most of it just felt like some kind of sick joke. And if you don't agree with that, I'll show your girl a real bloke.